What's up, everyone? Pittsburgh Weiss Schwarz coming at you with another set review. We are here with Azur Lane. It has been a long time coming. Had some guests that we were trying to schedule with, and we finally got it together. But before that, I'm joined today by Andy.
What's up, everybody?
And then our two guests from the Virginia Weiss Schwarz scene. We have Devin and Caleb. What's up, guys?
Yo, what's up?
No.
Thanks for having me back.
Always happy to
Yeah,
have
I'm
you.
glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Yep, it's gonna be a good time. There's a lot of cards. I don't want to waste any time. Again, this is like one of these sets. Why these set reviews are now curated. Azur Lane has a ton of fucking cards, and had to trim it down to make it feasible to actually review this stuff. But I have included at the end of every single color, as well as at the end of the trial deck stuff, a slide of notable profiles with the number and small pictures to show people, these are cards that would be, very easy to review. They are important cards. They're still important cards, but not really have discussion points on them. Just very simple cards that every set gets, things like that. But let's kick it off with our first trial deck. This is the Eagle Union trial deck, right? Did I get that one right?
Mm-hmm.
Devin's the lore master.
Yes.
Devin and Caleb
Eagle
are lore
Union,
masters. Okay, so Eagle Union's like the America chips, right? I guess that one,
American
right?
and Russian.
Okay, I don't know anything about Azur Lane. These are all guesses. I also don't know any of these characters' names. But Andy, this is your card, so go ahead.
Neither do I. These are some pretty cool looking Contai cards, if I do say so.
That's disrespectful.
First boat girl here. We got this Benoy. Yeah, I don't know any of the characters either, Carmen. We're in the same
Yeah.
boat. Get it?
Got it. Got him.
When this is placed on the stage from your hand, if you have another worship character, is that the common trait
Yeah, everything's
Yes.
worship.
among like all the
Yep.
sets? Okay. Okay, so if you have another character, this gets 2,000 power this turn, so 35 on play, and when this is sent to your waiting room from your field, you can discard a card. If you do look at top 4 of your deck for a level 1 or higher card added to your hand. So this is the classic Chiuri. Chiuris are always good. I don't know how good the extra 2,000, like just on turn, the turn you play it is. Not really a huge fan of that, but Chiuris are nice. So I'd say probably, minimum of like a B.
In my experience, the Azur Lane Zero lineup in terms of like utility cards, they have like a really good line of beaters, but in terms of utility cards, like this always ended up in one of my decks as like a 2 of, if I could fit it. Unless I was playing like the bar stuff, there's like another mill card, but like it's a pretty good Chiuri. It kills stuff.
This character's name is Laffy,
and
yeah,
Drinks
she likes
lots
to
of-
sleep a lot.
it does look very sleepy. Reminds me of like the 401 41 from Girls Front.
The main problem I've had with basically any level 0 is space, because your slots get eaten up very quickly by a package we'll see later.
Yep.
But this card is always good enough to like sneak a couple copies in, like you said, Carmen.
Yeah, it's like the usual 2 of Fuka Zero lineup for early mill and the panic play over. Sounds about right. All right, moving on here. We got this 1/0 combo. On play, gets 3k and has experience 2. When this card's battle opponent reverse, if you have this pants in your climax area and you have experience 2 or higher, you can discard any card. If you do, salvage 2 worship characters, put them to your hand, choose one of your characters, and it gets 1,000 power. So this is like that evolution of the on reverse, like ditch +1, but it's like super selective. Experience requirement, because it's so big. Like the fact that this is 8k helps you get the reverse. The next lane can be 9k, or you can make a final lane 10k if you have 3 of them, which is kind of nice that it gets that random like Minami power. But like no matter how big they are, it's not pseudo fever, so it still has to find a character. why I don't like it that much. No matter how like the top end on these combos is so good. Like I mean, I've even seen Tanner's been playing like Fubuki and Hololive again for like one of his builds, and like when you get the reverses, those combos are really strong. It's just hard to justify getting the reverse, no matter how big they get.
It's hard in this meta for sure. Currently, as of what now, September 2023.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
This is also San Diego, by the way.
San Diego. She's
San
got a lot of
Diego,
cannons.
Number one.
She's number one.
She
Number
is
one.
number one.
Okay.
She shot down the most enemy planes of the U.S. fleet in World War II, if I remember correctly.
Damn. Got the real lore. All right, next card. Caleb, go ahead.
Oh, yes. I get to do one of my favorites. This is Baltimore. On play, discard 1, reveal top card of your deck, choose a level X or lower warship. X is based on the level of revealed. And then when this attacks, if you have 2 or more other warships, choose one of your characters, gets 1,000 power. I'm going to be blatantly upfront here. This card has all the benefits and all of the downsides of being a blue level 1. The on-play effect is really good, but you do have to be playing blue to access this utility.
Rico's really good. They don't have a level 0 Rico, so this is like your one of your like very premium costless selection cards. I play this in like my bar door builds. I play like a really thick lineup of this. I think I play like 4 of it, like 3 or 4 of this card.
Wow.
Just
4K seems kind of weak.
Well, I
for
mean,
level 1, even with the utility.
with a climax down and it can pump anything, it can pump itself. It's like 6. But the main thing with a lot of these more aggressively slanted Azur Lane decks is being able to pick up zeros and loop zeros is really strong, because you play on a pseudo 5-card hand all game. So having a card that just flexes like your clock or a brainstorm hit into another card is really powerful. We'll get into that when we get to green. It's like a very powerful but like problematic package that finds its way into most of the quote-unquote meta Azur Lane decks.
There is a spoilers. Azur Lane has a JC, so you can do that really cool thing of just like playing down the Rico effect, salvage the JC, and then the next turn you JC that back to your hand, and you can loop it in the early game.
Yeah, just like have a pseudo infinite value engine, provided the cards attack. Get them back constantly. All right, next, Devin.
All right, we got South Dakota. If you have 2 or more other warship characters, this card gets 2,000 power. And an encore, put a warship character from your waiting room to the bottom of your clock. This is a standby target.
I play this in 1K1 decks. I hard slam this card in 1K1 decks. Notably, it sets color, which a lot of the other things do not. As well as just gives you like a body, because you're just constantly slamming zeros. And the fact that you play on a 5-card hand, it's got some like additional utility in the 1K1 list, but it is nice that it is like technically like a plussing standby target. Your opponent kills it, but it's just an okay card. Not anything too wild.
Dang, actually hard playing this. That's
Look, the bar door deck is like a simultaneously interesting as well as being a war crime at the same time. And like the fact that this card can just set like a super lean lineup of red, because like there's not a lot of non-standby red cards that you'd want to play, is like worth playing 2 of this card to like help you set your red and give you a plus.
The other notable thing about the door deck is that because you're playing 2 off finishers that require sacking a character but also need full field, you can play this in the back row and just have this be your sack if you have an extra clock to use.
Yeah, because you can just clock yourself, because if you don't kill them on the turn you play it, usually it's game over anyway. So you don't really care. It just gives you extra gas. And
That's
Okay.
why I gave it the plus. That's why I gave it the C plus.
Yeah, it's a good line.
Dang, I can't believe South Dakota gets a card, man. Is there a Pittsburgh ship? There has to be. South Dakota has one. Pittsburgh has
I
to
don't
have
think
one.
I don't think we had a. I don't think we had a
Pennsylvania
feather in
does.
that. We got Pennsylvania. Yeah. I think it's
Okay,
more states.
Okay.
Richmond has one, but that's in the game.
All right, back to the top. Andy, go ahead.
Okay, who's this fine sailor?
Enterprise, Awarida.
The Enterprise. Okay, nice. Yeah, on play, draw 2, ditch 1. And then on attack, if you have pants, you may pay the cost, which is just pay 1. If you do, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a warship, deal 3 to your opponent. Then until the end of your opponent's turn, this cannot be reversed. How many on reverse combos are there at level 3 anymore? That would be like a pretty nice way to like deal some damage and then stop them from getting a reverse.
Not many.
Yo.
It's like Milim Clock Kicker. Like that card. Like Dragonoid Milim is like around because of slime. That's about it. A lot of stuff
I don't
is
like
just
the
end of
fact this
attack.
can whiff either.
It is cheap, but it
pretty
can
annoying.
whiff.
I also wish this card healed because it would play more into being defensive.
Yeah, instead it digs.
Yeah.
That's going to be a running theme with Azur Lane level 3s. I wish this card healed. There's so few.
If this healed, that'd be really nasty because that would loop really nicely. Because the cost is so good, just pay 1. So if it lives back and you can combo again, like it pays for itself just by attacking.
Be really nice with a defensive counter that the set unfortunately doesn't have.
Or if it could early play, or if triggering pants didn't mean you whiffed your combo. Like, this problem, this card has, like, there's potential in the effect, but it doesn't synergize with, like, anything. And it's a shame because she's, like, the poster child of Azur Lane.
If only it was Neo Standard with Contai and you could play Compass. But there's no Compass.
That would be rad.
Yeah.
Or they could have just printed Compass.
Yeah,
That's
but then
true too.
It would be really funny if they just printed stuff like Compass and Mochi into Azur Lane as like an in-joke, but I don't know. Just let Junio go free. That'd be funny. All right. Last card here for Eagle Union is the event. I left the events in for each one. I didn't even look at what they were, so they might not be great. If you don't have an Eagle Union character, this cannot be played from hand. Look at up to 6 cards on the top of your deck. Choose up to 2 Eagle Union characters from among them. Go into your opponent, add them to hand, send the ones for waiting room. I almost said Union Monster. But so yeah, you this is
Eagle Union being the America's set. That's pretty pretty like on the nose with like.
Yeah, I mean it's the same kind of like tongue-in-cheek stuff that Contai does, right? It's like it's not America, it's whatever, or something like that.
This card seems solid. I mean, that's a lot of cards to go through. Like on command, like there's your deck speed. I mean,
it is a 2/1,
but
it is a 2/1, and it does +1. You don't have to ditch after. The downside being it only looks at 6 instead of just being. You know, I'd rather play a Magical Girl Pierce. I'm gonna be honest.
The other downside is you were now then proceeded to locked into most of blue, because not even all of blue is Eagle Union.
Yeah, it doesn't even. It only hits Eagle Union.
Just, this is locked. That's unfortunate.
It's like gas for your TD, but probably not great otherwise.
You run 4 of it in your modified blue TD.
Yep. All right, moving on. We are getting into the what is this? Something? What order? The
Royal Navy.
The Royal
This
Navy.
Britain.
Britain. Okay.
God save the Queen.
Caleb, go ahead.
All right, we've got Javelin here. During your turn, if you have 5 or more hand, this gets 2,000 power. And at the start of your opponent's tech phase, you may run this to an empty front row slot. Part of me wishes the power was defensive instead of offensive.
Oh, yeah, that's only on turn.
Yeah.
Kind of cheeks.
I think that in the modern game, where they have shifted literally every plussing card, I swear to Christ, to being like an on death +2. I don't think like any of these cards that are offensively big and then defensively evasive ever live unless they literally run to back row or like pop themselves back to hand like coin flips. Because I swear to Christ, every set under the sun just like unga bunga slams 3 cards because they're either double timed and they go off on play and on death, or they're on death +2s.
Wait a second. This is the same fucking condition as Armin, isn't it?
But it's only on turn and it runs anywhere.
Yeah, why is it only on turn? Why isn't it always? Armin's always.
Because this one runs anywhere. It doesn't just run to center, it runs all over the place.
Okay, I thought it was just a center runner.
It's like fine.
I don't know.
I misread this card at the beginning. I thought it was 35 run anywhere because I really thought we'd gone that far. But it turns out we haven't. We can do everything else.
Man, I love runners, but this just isn't doing it for me. Like, I don't know.
They're just not well positioned right now. Like I said, like every set just like unga bunga shits 3 cards to the board, and they're always bigger than. They're at least 15. Like it's worse they trade. Sucks. All right, next, Devin.
This is York. Oh, is it my card?
Yep.
Oh shoot. Okay. On placement, when this card is placed on stage from hand, you may mill 3 and then pay 1. Pitch 1. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you may pay cost. If you do, choose a character. It is a drop salvage. Drop salvage, pretty good.
Who's your name? Choco drop salvage. Pretty good. Decent. Totally decent filter card.
Why doesn't this one pump 1,000 power?
I think it's 500 power bigger. I'm not exactly sure. It might just be, I don't know, randomly wrong. But I don't see
Sounds like
1,000 in the
Mill 3
test.
seems pretty handy.
Optional mill 3 is good, yeah. All right. Back to the top, Andy.
Horse bite.
I don't even have a joke for this one. I don't know. She looks cool though.
She's a corgi.
What's her name?
It's Warspite.
Warspite, and she's a corgi. Okay, that's leaning into the Britain theme. Okay. On attack, if you have another warship, it gets 1,500, so it is swinging for 6,000. Then has my favorite mechanic. Just kidding. When this is placed on stage from your hand, if you have experience 2, you can pay 2. Pay 2 on play with experience. If you do, search your deck for a climax with the same name as a climax in your waiting room.
This is Kamome Climax Tutor. It is very powerful in specific lists that can take advantage of it. Specifically lists that stock charge and loop stock charges. And I don't know if those exist in Azur Lane beyond the stock charging combo that it is a 1-card package in and of itself, and you don't need this card.
Early on, like when you're at level 1, you might not actually have the climax you need in your waiting room for that. I mean, you probably will.
Yeah,
right?
it's more of like a late game loop card, and the fact that it's a 2-card stock out, it's like
it
really
searches
good
your
with
deck
stock
for
charging.
it too. Searching your deck is way worse than graveyard for climax.
But it
You're
does
ripping
add
climax
it.
out of your deck.
It does just add it. It is just a pay 2 plus a CX. So
I love this effect, but I cannot.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not playing yellow combos, it's like I can't even find room for yellow half the time.
I think there's a much better auxiliary like yellow level 1 as well. So
6K
but it's a cool
is
card.
a nice 6K is a nice body though as an auxiliary level 1.
All right, moving on. Got this 1-0 combo. During your turn, for each of your other warship gets 500 power. So on your turn, 6/5 with full board, 7/5 with climax. And then when this card's battle opponent is reversed, if you have the choice climax in your climax area, look at top 2, add any 2 warship characters or the Royal Navy event from among them, so then your opponent add it to your hand. in the West waiting room. I forgot to put the event on the slide. There it is. Yeah, on reverse, maybe +2. They realized coterie was a mistake. They made it on reverse instead.
What's this darkness motif she's got going on? Is she evil?
I think she's just edgy.
She's a maid.
Look, Andy, it's Yostar. What you see is what you get. Like, that's all you got. Like, whatever you see is what you get. That is the Chinese waifu that you were given.
She has hyper anxiety. She just needs to grip that plushie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she does have a plushie. That's adorable.
I like Dido. I haven't even bothered to try this combo, though.
Oh, is this her? Is this Dido?
This is Dido.
Okay. I've heard that name before.
She's got a lot of lewd art.
Uh-huh. I was really refraining from making the Dojin jokes, but they're just gonna keep coming up. Gonna keep happening. It's on reverse.
I'm not gonna bring it up.
On reverse at 7.5. At least it can +2. I don't know. It's like
The event is okay.
Yeah.
Actually.
But
it's on reverse, not selective. It just feels like D, especially in this meta. Maybe when things get hit, it'll be fine at level 1.
I think there's a better choice level 1 combo anyway. At least if I'm remembering correctly.
There's 2 better choice level 1 combos than this.
Oh, okay. All right, moving on. Caleb, go ahead.
Oh, this is me.
Yep.
This is Illustrious. When this card is placed from stage from hand, you may heal 1, and this turn, this gets 1500 power. And climax combo, pay 1 at the start of your encore step if you have the choice in your climax area, and this is in your front row. And you have 2 or more other worship characters, you may pay cost. And it is it's -3 soul. The character across from it gets -3 soul.
Choose one of your other worship characters. So she can't choose herself, but if you triple it, each one can choose the one next to it. So doesn't really matter. There's no way to slam this down early, right?
No.
Okay, it's garbage. Got 100% garbage.
The choose other to give the effect to is kind of weird too, because it's not like that effect is good if you stack it.
It's just random power budgeting, Andy. I wouldn't think too much into it. It's definitely not intelligent design. It's just weird power budgeting.
I like the art. It really speaks to me. But the effect really doesn't, no. Card kind of sucks.
Dude, level 3 only Neg Souls were too slow when they were printed back in first printed back in like 2017, and if you think you can get away with them now, I'm sorry, you can't. The only Neg Soul that's only at level 3 that's fine is Kirito, because that's an Alice, and he is also a bazillion other things on one card. And I think he's one of the only ones that's ever seen play. They're always bad. They come online too late. But we've talked that point to death. We can go next, Carmen. Devin, go ahead.
This is
Neg Soul in general.
This is Victorious. When this card is placed on stage from hand, search your deck for 1 worship character. Show it to your opponent and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Auto, pay 2 stock, and discard 2 cards. When this card attacks, you may pay cost. If you do, deal 2 damage to your opponent. This is an off finisher.
Like a totally acceptable off finisher. This is like super solid. I like that it toolboxes into maybe your primary finisher. Like if you have this in another card,
that's true.
Just like leads into another copy. It's pretty nice. All right, back to the top.
I think it's funny.
Oh, what's up, Caleb? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying. I think it's actually like one of the few bits of flavor they did put Victorious on an off finisher.
That is funny.
Hopefully it'll, yeah.
Hopefully it gets you there. All right, Andy,
okay.
this is yours.
The Royal Navy. If you don't have a Royal Navy character, you cannot play it. You can send one of your Royal Navy characters to your waiting room on a 1/1 event. If you do, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 4 Royal Navy characters among them. Show them to your opponent, add to your hand, send the rest to waiting room. So, at the cost of this card and a character on your field, you can potentially add 4 to your hand. So, if you hit all 4, that is a +2.
Yep.
I'm not really a huge fan.
Nope.
I mean, you're gonna miss. You're probably gonna hit a climax or something along the way, and unless your deck is entirely Royal Navy, which this set does not seem like it has the tools to be like mono,
Not
like
really.
clan, or like I don't know how else to put that, like all Royal Navy or all Eagle. At least as of the trial decks looking through them. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but at least you can grab it off the level 1 combo. That's a plus.
It's fine for your TD.
The fact that this card doesn't add itself, so it whiffs on itself.
Oh, that's pretty fucking cringe.
Yep.
Yeah.
You add even more natural whiffs to your deck by playing it. Cringe. All right, moving on to Soccer Empire. This is Japan. When this attacks, all of your characters gain the following ability until end of turn. When this card's trigger check reveals a climax, you can discard a climax specifically, salvage a worship character, add it to your hand, and then it is a cost bomb to clock. Totally fine filter effect. These like Saikono style, when you attack with it first, you get the bar filter so it doesn't eat a back row slot. Cost bomb, not very well positioned. The decks playing Shizu don't care about Shizu going to memory. It's just a combo that is on pants. And they don't even play the early play anymore. So it's like whatever, but the filtering power is fine.
It sees itself
I'm
attack
gonna give
too,
it-
which is nice.
Yeah,
The first effect.
everything gets it, including itself.
I'm gonna give it the B- because of the main combos being bar a lot of time.
Yeah,
That's about it.
Man, if you're really flooding on climaxes too, those effects stack.
yeah, you
Okay.
can.
So if the second one attacks, right, and if you swing with 2 of these and you hit a climax, you would get to discard 2 climaxes and salvage 2 characters.
Yeah, on your second swing, if you trigger on your second swing, you'd be able to filter out a lot. All right, moving on, Caleb.
This is Shigure. When this is
Shigure.
placed from hand, when this is placed on stage from hand, you can choose a warship character, and it gets 1500. And when this is sent from stage to waiting room, you reveal up to 3, add a warship, and discard 1.
Oh, how $20 Kirito has fallen. But it's still a fine card. From double rare all the way down to TD.
Yeah, you can definitely tell this is the Japanese Navy set. You know, this is Japan encapsulated in one card. It's a cat girl, it's a
Sailor
schoolgirl,
uniform, yeah.
and a boat.
Yep, all in one.
And a boat. And in a card game.
And in a card game. There you go. Look at that.
And it's a dog.
It's a dog.
She's
Orc.
a dog.
Okay. Wait, oh, I see the tail now. Yeah, it is a dog. All right, next. Devin, go ahead.
Ooh, I have Ayaname. During your turn, if you have 2 or more other warship characters, this card gets 2k power. Climax combo off a bar. This card attacks. If you have the bar in your climax area and you have 2 or more other warships, look at top 4, check add a warship from among them, reveal, add it to hand. Tell the rest of the waiting room. If you add a level 3 or higher character, draw a card, discard a card.
It's a 7,500 Monogro with
like
random
this one.
upside. This is one of 3 choices for your slot 1 bar, your early game combo bar, and it's totally fine. It's like better than average. Probably, yeah, it's just a completely on par for modern day climax combo.
The one note I have about this card is that the draw 1, discard 1 is not optional. They printed a combo recently where it is optional, and you're playing bars, so you can like, it can mess with the bottom of your deck if you're on low deck.
Yeah, it is mandatory if you pick up like a level 3.
You might be blind stocking.
That is unfortunate. Well, hopefully in multiples you can like mill less on the next one. You pick up a level 3 early, and you just say, okay, I won't grab any more level 3s. At least you can pass up the level 3 if you really
you don't trigger a bar.
Yeah, just pray you're out of them.
This card really slaps. Like, off a bar for level 1 combo, on attack, nice deck speed, with a filter. Got it all.
It is pretty good. All right.
It is one of my favorite TD cards, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the best TD combo as it stands. Well, level 1 combo. All right. Back to Andy.
All right. And we got another cat girl here, or fox girl, and it's a MILF. Look at that. What?
Look, man, it's Azur Lane. It's lollies or mommies, dude. There's no in between.
Yeah, brother.
Yandere.
With his place on stage from your hand, or by the effect of Kaga, which is going to be the next card. You get a heal 1, so these two mommies go together. And when this attacks you to the bar in your climax area, you can pay 1, ditch 1, burn 2, and get 1,000 power. This seems solid, but I want to see what the other half does.
It just summons it.
It's very unfortunate. That's what it is.
It just summons the Akagi and gives the Akagi 1,000 power. That's it.
It's so sad.
Can't be
that good. More than Akagi.
Yeah, I think I'd rather just cram 3 of this black fox mommy, and just not play the other one.
If I'm gonna play pay 1, ditch 1, burn 2, I'm gonna play Mari. I'll just go play Hall. There's got to be something better than this, which there is.
If you want
Go ahead, Devin.
I was gonna say, if you want to spend only $20 and get 4 instead of 2, and get the whole deck with it, Azur Lane is the set then.
That's true. You do get more bang for your buck, I guess, compared to the Marine. It's weird because people say I keep forgetting Marine's expensive because like I bought all my stuff when like Hollow was like, oh my god, everyone's opening it, every card is worth nothing, and then people go like, oh, Marine's $30, and I go, what are you talking about? And they go, come on, old man, we'll take you to bed. And I go like, okay, all right.
I will say I actually like this top end more than the after doing a lot of testing with the one in the booster. I actually ended up doing on this one because it's just way more consistent.
Yeah, the Shinano has some randomness to it, for sure. All right, and like we already basically talked about the Akagi here. It's just whatever. You probably play like 1 of it at most. It's pretty whatever. That was Andy's card, so I'll read the event again. 1/1. If you don't have a Sakura Empire character, this cannot be played from hand. Search your deck for a Sakura Empire character. Search your opponent, add it to hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards, and then a mandatory draw discard. So it's a mask that doesn't go to memory and then filters you, but you have to have Sakura Empire. Which you're probably playing green. The event is like randomly more playable than the other ones because there are more general Sakura Empire cards that make it into many decks than the other ones, but it's still not great. It's just a mask that doesn't go to memory, that doesn't have a bonder. Yeah, it is a card. That is pretty accurate. That is definitely a card. All right, not very many from the so what is the Germany centric, the Iron what?
Iron Blood.
Iron Blood. Okay. And this is your card, Caleb. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So this is Z23, as you can read down here. These when this card's battle opponent comes reversed, choose one of your other warship characters, rest it, and move it to an empty back row. And then when this is reversed, if the opponent is level 0 or lower, you may reverse that character.
Bomb, clean cut. A true terrorist profile. Previously only relegated to custom sets. And as it turns out, it's like annoying, but not great.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem big enough to reliably like run over something without the bomb effect, like to ever stay on field itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the dream with the card, but it never works out, basically.
I mean, that's the appeal of clean cuts in a sense, I feel, is like they hit over their thing and then they save something else. They're not like trading and then you know what I mean? Like you have the body on field to like throttle some damage.
Yeah. I don't know. It's more funny than it is effective, but I'll give it the plus for being funny. I definitely read this and I was like, that's the first card I'm going to sleeve up. But I played it down in like one game and I was like, wait, this doesn't work any of the ways that this doesn't work nearly as well as I thought it was going to. And it very quickly was unsleeved. All right.
Needs a third line of text on it.
Yeah, it needs something else. So Devin, go ahead.
All right, Z24. Pay on play. Oh, place on stage from hand. Yep. Pay one, pitch one character. Check X. Add a card. Send the rest to waiting room. X equals the number of characters on your opponent's board. And then when a climax is placed in your opponent's climax area, you may send us to stock. Interesting card.
One of the only ways to like dig without a level 3 out there that's not like a check 3 brainstorm. So I thought this was like randomly relevant because at least when you play it early game to like try to if your opponent like usually the ideal way to play this card would be like you don't have your climax, your opponent goes to 1 first, and this digs you 4 or 5 cards. Your opponent played out their level 1 board into it, and then if your opponent responds again, at least this card can go to stock from your back row. So it like pseudo attacks and refunds itself. But not that remarkable. All right. Back to Andy for the next one.
All right.
Prinz.
Yuligan.
Okay, this is just Contai. If all your characters are warships, this gets 1,000 power. And when it's taxed, if you have the door climax and experience 2, discard a card. If you do choose a warship in your waiting room, add to your hand, then until the end of your opponent's turn, this gets the effect cannot be reversed. Ditch 1 to salvage 1. And then I guess it pluses itself on field because they can't reverse it. I mean, if there's a lot of on-reverse combos, I mean, this would be pretty dope, but again, it's 2023. Most stuff's on attack.
At least it doesn't die.
Pretty underwhelming.
It's like fine, you know, Andy. If you don't like experience 2, woo, let me tell you, there's a lot more experience to come. This is an experience set.
There's a couple issues I have with this card, and then it's only swings at 6/5, and because of the way it's worded, if you crash, you still do get reversed because the anti-reverse is only on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, so you have to win your lane with it. That's the biggest problem with this card.
I wish it was just like big offensively, and then just like.
Well, that would have too much synergy
around
for a TD card. Got to go to the booster for those ones.
Oh, this is also Devin's favorite character.
Prinz is pretty good.
Prinz is a good waifu.
All right, another really important card from the TD. This is Bismarck, right?
That's
right? Okay. On play, check 3. Add a card to hand. And then when the door is played in your climax zone, if this is in your front row, you can pay 1, ditch 1. If you do, all of your other characters gain the following ability. On attack, look it up to 2. The top of your opponent's deck, choose up 2 cards from among them, put one top of your opponent's deck in any order, send the rest to waiting room. Spoiler alert, there's a restander, a climaxless restander you can pair with this card, so you can play a single Bismarck, double restander. Because the restander is stock gated, you have a really good way to build stock. So you get 5 attacks with 4 mochas, which the numbers on it are pretty good. I mean, 8 Pants Gochiusa made an entire name off like Aoyama Blue Mountain doing the same thing, except in Azur Lane you also get to play Cat Soul Rush alongside this. And that's like the go-to finishing board for the quote-unquote meta Azur Lane deck. There's a lot of other things you can do with this card, but that is the primary pair target, is a expensive but climaxless restander, so that you get 2 hits on the Mocha effect, because that is not once per turn. But as it stands, Vacuously, card is like a B+, A-, somewhere in there. It's like a totally fine effect that's modular to give it to something else. It's just very expensive because it's on climax placement.
I just got my playset of these recently, so this is the one deck I haven't tested. But it looks super sick and was one of the most interesting cards I saw out of the entire set, is give other things Mocha.
There's also a ton of heavy experience gated off finishers to pair this with, not just the restander. There's a lot of nutty stuff you can do with this card.
You can do that that Prisma Ilia play with the Victorious we saw earlier, where you Mocha 2 to see if they're clean, and then pay cost and like guarantee 2 damage.
Oh, that's juicy.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that you can do with this card because it gives to other. All right, last card here. There's an event for TD. Caleb, go ahead.
If you don't have any Iron Blood, you can't play it. You may discard an Iron Blood character. If you do, choose a climax in your waiting room, add it to hand, then choose one of your Iron Blood characters, and it gets 4K.
Like the weirdest fucking, what is it, Pyeongkichi I've ever seen.
Just because it gives 4 power, 4K.
Well, it's the same thing. It's ditch, grab something, gain 4K, but it's the 2-0 instead of a 1-1.
I don't think that this minuses you. I don't think the Pyeongkichi.
Yeah, this is like a way to get in the
interesting.
climax. This is not it's not good. They're not like.
I mean, anything that can like help you get a climax, I guess, is something. 4,000 is a lot of power.
It is notable at least a lot of the Iron Blood characters are your standby targets, so maybe you have a cute play with this, but I doubt it.
The standby deck actually wants to be playing that stuff from hand, but like getting the event in your hand is going to be the hard part here.
And no bonder to any of these TD events. Only way to grab it is the yellow one you can grab off the climax combo. That is it. All right, well, here for TD stuff in the close, trial deck notable profiles, couple here. There might be a couple more that I missed. There's so many cards in the trial deck that are repeated, but I did go over it a couple times, and these are the ones that have made it into quite a few decks that I have seen. I was pretty liberal, so we got this on attack plus 2K other pay 1 back or runner. It's the Ishigami runner. It's the first one here from the Eagle Union TD. It's a 4K Futaba, so reveal top if it's a character. I believe it also hits on event. Or no, it only hits on characters. I literally have it written there because I'm blind. 4K Futaba, again, we talked about like big beaters. If you're not playing the cats and you want like a big beater in Azur Lane, it's like really not that bad of an option. There's a 2K Leafa backup in the Eagle Union TD. Always useful if you're playing choice. Moving on to Royal Navy, level 0, come and play. If there's 2 or more other, you draw drop, and then on attack plus 2K to other. Pretty good filter, and then power pump. There's a 2/1 level assist up front that has a act, pay 1, ditch 1, rest self, check top 3, add 1. That is like repeatable every turn, which lets you like constantly dig into climaxes after you hit level 2. Might be nice. And then moving on to Sakurai Empire, we get the Climax Swappers. The only Climax Swappers in the set are in the TD, right? We were talking about that before we started recording.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
There's 2 of them here. The green one is just start of Climax phase. You can give 1k anywhere. The Climax Swap. And then also in the Sakurai Empire TD, there's come and play, ditch Climax Salvage. And then when another character attacks, you get 1k. So this card can swing in at 3/5. It's 1500. So a good little like early filter if you're flooding, and then might be able to clear a lane at 0. Then moving on to Iron Blood, we have this level 0. We have come and play plus 1k anywhere. Act, pay 1, sack self, check top 4, add 1. Pretty decent deck card for standby. Also giving the come and play power on play, so it's not like dead, sitting somewhere. Does something relevant on play before you act and sack it is nice. And then another Climax Swapper. It's 3k total if you have 2 or more other on board, and it is just your normal Climax Swap. And that is it for the TD. Any other thoughts on trial deck stuff before we get into the booster?
Oh, I thought about this after we passed it. The Enterprise combo is actually flavor, because her in real life would keep getting hit and just would never sink. So she can't get reversed, you know?
I see.
That's like one of the few pieces of lore I know.
That's cool.
That is true.
All right.
She went
Well,
back 2 or 3 times.
I think slide number 24 was really good. The one that gives the mocha to the others.
Yeah.
The rest of it seems pretty milk toast to me. But in the notable profiles at the end, you know, those Climax Swappers seem pretty good. Like there seems to be like a lot of like solid stuff just overall, like especially in the notable profiles.
all right. Well, this has already gone for about 45 minutes, so I'll probably cut it here and then come back in with yellow next time. So we will be back with yellow in the next video.